What's the pressure on Jimbo Fisher right now in College Station, Texas? Now, a lot of y'all got in the comment section on a previous video where I talked to you about pressure that was on different coaching staffs, and so many of y'all were like, Jimbo Fisher, question mark, eyes emoji, Jimbo Fisher. Like, there was a lot of Jimbo slander in our comment section, essentially telling us that you believe Jimbo Fisher has a lot of pressure on him in College Station this coming season. I agree with you. So we're not going to do a whole list here. We're just going to talk about Jimbo Fisher and sort of the situation that they are finding themselves in. Because there's that press conference that was a little bit prickly. You saw it, I saw it. It made you squirm. It was more awkward than an Office episode. And I love The Office, and I love it because it's awkward. This was not that kind of good awkward. So the obvious situation for Jimbo Fisher and that offense is they are underperforming drastically. That is the bad news. They scored 22 points a game last season. That's 97th in the country. They had 348 yards total per a game on average last year, good for 96th in the country. On third down, it was just a bad deal. Converted 34% of the time, 103rd in the country. So that's the bad news. The product was very, very bad. Now, the good news is still a lot of pieces on that Texas A&M offense. Connor Wegman playing quarterback, a lot of excitement around him, especially what he did at the end of last year. Anais Smith, he's back for another round. Evan Stewart, he's a freak show wide receiver, man. He quietly had a very good year last year. And then Reuben Owens, he's on campus now, one of the top running backs in the country in the 2023 cycle. I imagine he'll be a factor for you this year. So the cupboard isn't bare in College Station. And that's part of the reason why there is so much frustration. Coach, we got all these great players. We got all these really talented kids, but we're not able to convert that into a quality product on the field. Something ain't adding up here. And that's why a lot of people believe that Jimbo Fisher was, I won't even touch that. That's why a lot of people believe that Jimbo Fisher went and hired an offensive coordinator. Whether you believe he was forced to or not, Jimbo Fisher hired an offensive coordinator in Bobby Petrino. Got some thoughts on that. But hang around real quick. Subscribe to the channel. Talk ball here every single day. We love you all for it. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. @JDPakel. Get at me. I want to hear what y'all think about this. It's a beautiful part of having this platform is we get to interact with y'all. Okay, so thank you for that. The situation, essentially, is Jimbo Fisher hiring an OC is like passing the sticks. Hey, you had your chance. Give it to the OC. Again, whether you believe he was forced to or not, an offensive coordinator's job is to coordinate the offense, to get us in the end zone, something we did not do effectively or consistently a season ago. And I wholeheartedly believe this. There will not be change in College Station from what you see from a product standpoint, from a result standpoint, until you change the way that you approach it. To make it crystal clear, there will not be change for this Texas A&M offense until Bobby Petrino gets the keys fully. Okay, because we've seen what it is with Jimbo Fisher, and this is not a dunk on Jimbo Fisher kind of segment. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, man. 22 points a game, that ain't going to cut it. You've recruited way too well. You've put way too much sweat equity into the recruiting trail to have that kind of performance, right? That's not what you want. That's not what you expect. That's not what you deserve, quite frankly. You're telling me it's a Jimmy's and Joe's game, JD. Well, we got a lot of Jimmy's and Joe's. Why are we not able to convert that on the field? You look at Jimbo Fisher and say, man, I think it's time. I think it's time we give somebody else at least a chance. Now, the million-dollar question is, how easy is that process? How seamless does Jimbo Fisher allow Bobby Petrino to call the plays? Because we saw the press conference, and everybody and their mother in College Station says, you're reaching, that's not a story, he's always prickly. Listen, I've watched every Jimbo Fisher press conference from this past season. I've watched all of them. Okay, I understand, he's a prickly guy. But the way that he answered those Bobby Petrino questions, he was not giving those any air. It's already kind of a prickly situation with him. That was prickly to the nth degree. And also, if you think that we're reaching, then everybody else around the country is reaching too. Because we were not the only people to talk about this in the light that we did. Okay? So, how easily does Jimbo Fisher pass the sticks to Bobby Petrino? Because I said this before. It is difficult to drive when you have two sets of hands on the wheel, right? You can't properly steer your vehicle when you got someone in the passenger seat reaching over every couple of miles and jerking the steering wheel around, man. That's not safe for anybody. And also, you just end up swerving on the road. You don't make any turns. You don't make any progress. You just look like an idiot and get pulled over by the officials because of, some questionable driving. The officials, by law enforcement for questionable driving. So that's the reality there. The other good news for Texas A&M fans, like I said, you got the pieces. A lot of those pieces come back. And defensively, you got a team that I think can do some damage. I mean, you only gave up 23 points a game last year, and you bring back 77% of that defensive production. So it's not like there's problems all over A&M. You just kind of keep looking back to what are we doing offensively. Got the personnel on offense and defense, it looks like, but we can't seem to have the right direction. Okay, so I'm curious. Does Bobby Petrino, one, like I said, get the keys and not have somebody else trying to steer the wheel with him? And two, is that all it takes? Like, is it that simple? Like, sometimes you just need to flip one switch on the machine and then, oh, it works. Great. Thanks so much. I've said this many times, the chiropractor protocol. You don't feel good, you're sore, you're misaligned, it's hard to walk around, you're not functional. One trip to the chiropractor, a few clicks, a few cracks, you're a new person. After one adjustment, after one alignment. Is that all it takes? Remains to be seen. But there's a lot of reason for optimism in College Station because of what you have from a personnel standpoint, what you have stocked in the cupboard. A lot of pressure on Jimbo, though. Do not get it twisted. There's a lot of pressure on Jimbo Fisher to perform with that kind of personnel. All right? We'll leave it at that. Make sure you're subscribed here. Again, Nick Brake, lifting heavy. This is y'all's show. Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze joining the program tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central for the good people in College Station. Looking forward to having y'all there for that. Should be a real good time. Hit the bell so you make sure to not miss that when we do go live. But we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, man, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.